of something which is very relevant to us, because as part of these technology initiatives, a lot of faculty members are exploring more and more open content available on the web and then using them into our own classroom. Also, many of us are creating our own content and we want to put it as a open content on the web, and then we don't know how will it be used, what are the licensing implications and all that. So though it's a high level introduction, but at least it will give you an idea of what can happen and what should you consider. So today if you start looking for open content, there are a lot of open courseware sites, MOOCs, YouTube, SlideShare, and millions of other sites which are available. And most of the time we don't know what is open and what is copyrighted. And there are lots of shades of grey in between open and copyrighted. So either some all rights reserved or some rights reserved. And it does not only apply to educational content, it applies to all kinds of creative content, which can be music, pictures, videos, etc. etc. So there is an initiative taken by a company called Creative Commons. Now what this company does, it's a non-profit organization from US, and they have released several copyright licenses known as Creative Commons licenses, free of charge, and they are very easy to understand, so that school teachers, university teachers, or any person who is creating and posting content can use these licenses. Now what they do is, it helps you communicate. So when you are posting a content on YouTube or SlideShare or whatever, then how much rights do you want to give to anybody else, that what can they do with your content? I mean, can they copy the whole thing? Can they comment on it? Can they integrate your content into their own content or whatever? So these kind of issues are covered in these licenses. Now, if you look at total, there are 6 types of licenses which I will try to cover quickly. What do they mean? Okay. CC is the logo of the Creative Commons, and then each of the 6 licenses have actually 4 symbols and a combination of those 4 symbols. Okay. And these are the 4 symbols that we need to understand. The first one is by, which means who has created this. So that means whenever you use any open content, you are supposed to attribute that it has come from that source. That is the first, and this thing is common in all 6 licenses. So whenever you use, now whether it is mentioned it is licensed or not licensed, this is the first and foremost important thing. The second symbol is an equal sign, which means no derivative work. That means when you use this content which has been licensed under ND, no derivatives license, you can integrate it into your course, but you cannot alter it. For example, you cannot change audio, or you cannot slice it or change the meaning or something. That is the thing. Third one is share alike, which means that if you use that content and then use it inside your content, you should share and if you share your content with others, it has to be the same license which original person has given. So that is the combination that it has to be. So I will come to more explanation. And fourth one is non-commercial, which is very self-explanatory, that if you use that piece of content, you cannot use it as part of a commercial product. Okay? So these are the 4 topics. Now let's look at each of the 6 very quickly of what do they mean. So first one is very simple, CC BY, which means it's from Creative Commons, and then you just have to attribute that I have taken the content from that source. You can change it, tweak it, you can use it for commercial or non-commercial purposes, anything. So this is the most open and accommodating license which is available. And I was reading the the terms for YouTube. By default, YouTube, most of the actually all the content that they say is available under this. Now there are a lot of contradictions to this which I am not able to cover. But as per the site, YouTube answers, that is what they say. That means you can take the content and then use it the way, but you have to attribute that it has come from this source. The next one is CC BY SA. That means you have to attribute the creator, but you have to share alike. Which means when you share this content, if you are using it internally, then it's okay. But when you are sharing it on the web or licensing it, then you have to use the same share alike. For example, Wikipedia uses this. Now here, you can use it for commercial purposes. It does not say non-commercial. Okay, you can change around that. But you also have to share with other people so that they can also share. So Wikipedia actually uses this concept because they want their content to be shared as much as possible after that. So that is the second one. Third one is no derivatives, which means simple that if I have taken a video or any content from somewhere, I have integrated into my own, I should not change any part of it. For example, we were discussing in the faculty meeting that somebody took a video and then we did not like the sound behind it, so we changed it and all that. If the license is part of ND, then you cannot do it. That is the no derivatives concept. Then combination of, this is non-commercial, which means you can use it. So for example, here, whatever we are doing in the university, we can use it internally with our students, upload it on our Moodle and all that, but we cannot make it as part of any commercial activity. So for example, and because university is a non-profit organization, I can share it with my students, but if I am doing a freelance corporate training, that is considered a commercial activity. There I cannot use that. So that is the difference that we have to understand. So teaching, between non-commercial and commercial, there are two different shades. Then a combination of non-commercial and share alike. Khan Academy and NPTEL are in this category. So which means that you can use Khan Academy content, you can use NPTEL content, you can change it. They don't have no derivation. You can slice it, change the audio, whatever. But you cannot use it for commercial activities. And when you license it, it has to be the same license so that the next person will also use the same license. Then a combination of non-commercial and no derivatives. That means you can, you cannot use it for commercial, and you have to use the whole piece without changing it. So these are the 6. Switch off this slide.
Very useful.
So these are the 6 combination of licenses which are available. More and more open course sites are using these, but some of the commercial routes, for example Coursera, though it is open, but they are not allowing their content to be used. They don't use this. Khan Academy is non-commercial, they use it.
What is Coursera?
So Coursera licensing says that this is copyrighted. If you enroll as a student, you can use my content and view it, but you cannot reuse it. You cannot, take pieces or use it in your own teaching. Even for academic.
Professors can't use it in their class.
Cannot use a part of it. Like if they use it for course.
And they use the whole
So for example, if we are using a Coursera course in NU and we want our students to see that content, as a faculty, I cannot download the content and then give it to them. I can ask all my students to enroll for that Coursera course because it is free, and then they can use it from there. That is their licenses.
And enrollment is free, just that they have to pay for the certification. We will get access to the entire
So therefore, a student could do that course and we could examine him in our way and give him answer.
That is
They would have no problem with that.
that is good.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think this is what
we are using it
I
as a
would say.
certificate.
I would say that it's important for us and that we should take the responsibility to look at all possible combinations of things that a typical RIT faculty may do, from using to creating to sharing to whatever. Look at all possible combinations. And whether you can then
All are covered here.
These licenses, all possibilities are covered. So all that we should see is that we should, any of our faculty members, when they are using the course, then at that time they should just follow these rules. This is really very good. This should be stuck on many bulletin boards so that people can
that is
understand.
one also there. If I was giving the example, if Coursera course, I don't know how they label it, but trying to understand now how to interpret this sort of situation. As a faculty member, I want to, the whole module, maybe 10 lectures or whatever, I want students to go and do it there. I will send the paper, I will give them an NIT. Then, is there an issue with that?
I think there is none.
When you say I think, I just want us to apply our mind, Shraddha. So you please take the responsibility. Then you can work with Apesh or whatever. But take the responsibility that in building our content, in using others' contents, we are not violating on one side, and secondly, we are protecting ourselves. So this would be a very important thing. I think it's a very useful thing, and maybe a couple of sessions down, so if you could do another session just on this along with Apesh. But how it applies to every one of us. So this is very instructive. But now let's make it complete for all possibilities of what a faculty member would do from using till creating. How do we protect what we create? Therefore, we'll have to do a set of things, right? You just can't say it's in my head that it's CC by something. How do you make that happen? So the nuts and bolts of protecting our own and the nuts and bolts of protecting others. I think that needs to be made into a. Okay.
When I was exploring this course area for some content, we use in marketing and course, so I found that they also give certificate by paying something. Means they ask, if you want for certification.
Yeah.
Second option is that you don't go for the certification, you just go around the content. There are two options.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Therefore, we can use, our students can use it.
Yeah, they can use after logging in and creating
But
their
if I have a class, if I have a tutorial to 10 students, and I'm projecting what's on my screen, and I'm going to the Coursera team, can I do that or not? No.
Okay, so there are gray areas in this.
Anyway, what
Let
I'm
me
saying
give another point of view.
exactly the question I'm raising the question only to say, we should have great clarity in every faculty member of how do you protect what you build, and I think we need to recognize that we are by design building many things that we may not even know. We may not know. In this country we haven't copyrighted things at all. So not that we want to be greedy, but if there is a regime worldwide of copyright, respect and protection. We want to not violate, but we also want to protect ourselves. So I think that we need to get a better understanding.
So why I am saying is that there are a lot of gray areas. There is another concept which I came across, which is called fair use. Now, fair use is a limitation and exception to the exclusive rights granted by copyright law to the author of a creative work. Now, this actually contradicts a little bit on what we just looked at in terms of we cannot use Coursera or anything else. So what they say that if you are using it for educational purpose, then you can use it. So
Who's saying this? Who's saying this?
As per Wikipedia, that US copyright laws allow for this exception. Sorry? Yeah, so from Wikipedia it says that it is granted by copyright law of US. I have taken some text from the Wikipedia.
In the Indian copyright, it's 10 to 12%.
Yeah.
Sorry?
In the Indian copyright, it's 10 to 12% that can be used for an academic purpose. In the Indian copyright law, it's now 10 to 12% that one can check. For example, for the journals and all, when we are using content for academic purpose, it's like 10 chapters, then you can use 10% of it for academic purpose.
So some
All
of
the
the
people working, you are taking go to part of the
So we are crediting it. We're not saying it's our content. I mean, it has to be, it's always credited. It's always attributed to the author, but we can't even circulate. Even photocopying and circulation is
Also, you have to seek permission
from the
from the original
publisher.
publisher or author.
So some of the conditions that they say, are within the guidelines of fair use is if it is used for schoolwork and education, news reporting, criticism, comedy and parody. This is the use. And if you use a small amount, what should I say, some 10% or whatever of that, you are doing a rework, it is a non-profit purpose, and then you are making a new book. So as long as it is within these guidelines, you can use even copyright. So that is where I say there are gray areas on how much we can and we cannot use. I mean, there are battery of lawyers who are like contradicting with each other. But this is what I could gather from my area.
There was this case in the university also, photocopying was actually photocopying is postcards.
Complete books, no?
Complete
And
books.
they
Not-
were
not the
charging money for it.
Yeah.
They were charging money.
It's an absolute practice here.
It's very
Take a book
common.
from the library, give it to a guy who sits in the library,
It's almost
gives you a
obvious.
bound almost original for a fraction of the cost. That's illegal.
It's illegal.
That's illegal. But it's done in the library. But that is being defended using this concept of
Full books you
As
cannot.
well as a consortium of publishers
No,
are
The book means तो library को कहना book number so and so ये भी आता है book number used by everything nicely packaged cover is same cover
so,
but all the machine
so
and when you
peers,
normally fold the book and copy then you get all the straight line in
Those
the
are the books which are sold at traffic lights. No, all the bestsellers from the select line, those are those books. So, I did it in a
very universal library
Inside in Delhi University last year they tried to stop it, there were a lot of problems, but they have started it. Okay, so what is the conclusion? And I will put that conclusion with a disclaimer that this is my understanding. I have not consulted a lawyer or whatever on this.
you will sue you
Yeah, that is why I am putting it with disclaimer. So we can use most material downloaded from internet if we mention the creator, that we will attribute the work to the creator. I use it for non-commercial purpose inside and use for our own students and upload it only on our own Moodle and not on outside systems. I think if we follow this, we are like almost safe to reuse most of the content that we want to use.
I'm not sure what to do in all cases. By that logic, you should only buy one copy of the book and buy the best photocopying machine in the world. So you can give up one book each to everyone. I don't think so. That's what I'm saying.
No,
So
so that is why
the second one is
10%
dicey according to me. Your second line, use it for non-commercial purposes, teaching any student.
no, so
most material downloaded from the internet jokes
Yeah, so e-books are.
textbooks will not
textbooks
e-books
are
are-
not- yeah, text-
If you go to Gutenberg, right? Most of the e-books are available in PDF format. Most means I think 100%. If they are available in free, what Gutenberg?
what is that
It's a not-for-profit which control which takes from all authors
why do we give
PDF versions.
why do we give
Knowledge to be distributed.
they want to distribute that who
They have their ways, whatever way they work out.
so if you look at the content
For poor people, they
the
there
best
are
sellers
ways.
on the recent books are not only the classics which are pretty old
No, there are newer ones available. So, the only thing is it's a PDF version. So since it's a PDF version, on a Kindle reader it doesn't come out all that well. And you can't annotate it, you can't do so many things to it, but as a book it is available. That's the problem. Yeah.
So I think I should
so it's
add,
a confusing enough subject
So I think second line is a confusing subject. As a mark of courtesy, when you use anybody's material, in fact in NIT now we have made it, we used to take diagrams, some windmill from here, some sun from there, some this from there. As a rule now we always acknowledge the copyright, whoever is the original. As a rule, I think that's just basic courtesy.
that is basic.
And also keeps you legally protected. Second, using it on your internal network, that's also fine. But in between one, I think I would like that we use those the one which not fair use.
no, I
In
think
my opinion, fair use is in the publicly. your, these. Use these to see whether you can.
So
the thing is-
whatever content you're looking at, that should show on this.
So not all. So most of the larger organizations are using one of these licenses, but many of them are not using it. So we don't know.
That's the biggest problem actually. So you have a lot of those classified books being sold which you can't make out as if it's the original book or is it somebody who's sort of duplicated it and then sold. And
You're
then-
liable if you use it.
That's true. But in the
Why
sense
are
that
you
you will pay for it or is it a free ebook? So sometimes it's an ebook which has been converted into like a free available source. But it's ethically incorrect to use it because the second person might not have.
Anyway, we leave this responsibility with you. for that.
Somehow I have a little very dramatically different way of looking at it, and perhaps it's a losing belief. But I thought I should say it, and I must stop myself. So I know it is perhaps not relevant. It is my firm knowledge and research belief, it's not an emotional belief, that coming in of ICT with the digital age is bringing in knowledge progression in every activity, where there is information creation, information applying, information developing and applying, and finally liberating with whom I am interacting to do it on one's own. This acts on every act of subject knowledge, the quadratic equation, the laws of economics. If this cross product is not made, I am afraid the learning in digital age will not take place, and those who continue with it will start losing. After all, what I study
Those who continue to
with it without looking at the knowledge progression will slowly start receding in terms of the learning economy. After all, I was taught thermodynamics, rather transformers. I could not have survived at this age in the university with an involvement. Something else had happened. Those are the learning processes. They will be the real products of the university. Frankly speaking, physics will not be the product, math, electricity also, it just comes to my mind. But electricity also will not be the product. Just like transformers cannot be the product. I got my A grade there, but nobody will give me jobs. So what I am making a plea is, I cannot say how much I am convinced about it, that the process of learning is becoming the problem. Of course, the UGC, AICT and the nation does not have that courage to say, but it is already happening in sports, it's happening in media, it's happening in life, it's happening everywhere. Tendulkar at the age of 40 has a Bharat Ratna and is considered to be intelligent individual. So what I feel is, and of course this comes down to teaching learning process. The teacher is a pedagogue, teacher who is a subject matter in the sense of discipline, but discipline is temporary. The important issue is what looks like concrete is temporary. It is the abstract which is permanent. It is the reality of the even material physics. So if we take that point and if we look at teacher as a subject, then the pedagogue, and technology comes to create new information, just as it must do just now, just as what you are looking. Then when the ordinary becomes great, there are no great people. There are no great people, there are only ordinary people, but because they originate information. These processes are learning processes. If this becomes our brand yourself will work towards it. Just like Walmart made core strategy, its supply chain, they remove the inventory, they remove the warehouse. So shall we make this core strategy. Baki, the subject domain, and people developing their life at that point. So I think this is the angle, and then the content acquires different meaning altogether. I just want to submit that.
that is why I guess some of the people are saying that let the content be there. What is it that is happening around it to shape people's capability and capacity? That is where the emphasis is. So right now they are only saying, fine, we will do a signaling of certification which tells people and creates a commercial value by the certification, and therefore they will charge for certification, where they are coming from. But
We have no further academic consequences when we presented educational competency, learning competency
yeah.
framework. It is not about plumbing and carpentry, because I don't know what to do tomorrow. But if I can give, and
No,
we had that
very
proposal,
Just
I
about
think I just share it. But I just thought I should share
Yeah,
the
go
same
ahead.
part.
I have one more. We can also take the permission sometimes. What happens if a person innovates something or do something new? If we request him or her, then as per my experience, however, maybe I am fortunate enough but sometimes they give the permission that you can use my material, and maybe it is in the very it is in very restricted zone, but he will be happy enough to see my mail that if there is a person who want to use my particular things in their
So I think there you are not only acknowledging, you are seeking permission to, and they are happily giving it.
Definitely.
And because they expect that if you are seeking permission, you will tell everything. So that's the first category. Why? Let's go. Okay.
Okay. Now, moving to the next topic that I wanted to cover today, a quick overview of technology usage and the current status in the to look at what are the total educational processes that we are trying to cover. I have taken 2 slides from Raji's presentation that was presented in IIT last year. So if we say that if we look at different processes that happen in the education process, you have a teacher who comes to the classroom and then gives a lecture. There is a lot of content, whether in form of library books or any other form of content. There is a lot of collaboration, and collaboration is not only between teacher to student but also between student to student. So group discussions or such things are also important part of the education process. Then assessment, labs, different types of practical activities that we do, and finally the examination before you get the certification. So these are the different processes which cover almost everything that we do as part of the college life. Now what are we doing? What can we do to see that how technology enhances these experiences? Now for the classroom or the teacher taking a lesson, we are using Adobe, we are using SFT for our F&B students when they are on internship, using digital tools like interactive whiteboard or other tools in the classroom. The content can be moved, open content, different forms of multimedia that we use. Collaboration, within Moodle we have discussion forums and blogs and such, but in addition to that we can use other forms like Twitter or Facebook if you want. Assessment labs, again there are simulations of labs or whatever, we will see some of them today in different presentations, and online quiz, online exams, etc. So, and Vijay, this almost maps to our cloud campus. They have those 6 pieces, we are categorized with 5, but it covers almost all those 6 areas that cloud campus. So I will discuss with you separately, but it is not missing, it is categorized a little differently, that's all. Okay, so if we look at, so to enhance the usage of these things, last 2-3 months when we started this initiative, a lot of training sessions have been done on different tools, using how to use online assessments, interactive whiteboard, audio editing, video editing and such, and good participation has happened, and then I believe that many faculty members feel good and excited about using these. If I take the data from Moodle, that in the current semester, which is going on for BTech, in the current term of FLP which started about a few weeks back, this is the volume of usage inside Moodle. How many content files, how many quizzes, how many online assignments and such. But this does not give me the the usage pattern. So I try to put it this way. There are approximately 100 courses currently running. If I look at Moodle across all BTech, MBA, MTech, everybody. Okay, together. Out of that, about 30% are using at least one online assignment. About 20% are using at least one online quiz or online multiple choice exam, and 75% are using online content. Then I thought maybe it should be more, so I tried to exclude visiting faculty members because they are not part of so much of rigorous interaction on technology usage. So if we consider only regular full-time faculty, then a faculty member who are using online content on Moodle, and I have not included those courses where there is only 1 or 2 pieces of content, because sometimes there are course handout and such things. So those I have excluded from this. So at least 3 or more. Then there are about 80% people who are using this. So what does it tell me? Right? I can be happy that 80% are using, or I can also look at it that maybe each 20 or 25% are still who are not even contributing one single component on almost everybody is using some form of digital content, but maybe some of them are sending by email and not putting on the central repository. So this is the current status. So this, when I was looking at this, it reminded me of Mr. Modi's remark a few days back that is it half full or half empty? So, okay, we have achieved something, but there is a opportunity to do a lot more that we have to do so that we increase it. I don't think we want to say that everything will be 100% in this, but there is a definite scope for a lot of increased usage that we have to continue to do. So this is the current usage.